Mountain, mountain, mountain. You may have a hard time saying this word, and I want to kind of explain the word why, because maybe you're saying mountain or mountain or things like that, and that's just not going to give you the most natural sound when it comes to American English. But why is that? Well, it's because we need to be using something that's called a stop T or a held T. Let's talk about it. Good morning, guys. Good evening. Good afternoon. Welcome to your daily American English pronunciation show. Wake up, American. We are here Monday through Friday, typically between the hours of 7 to 8 a.m. New York, to make sure that you can get in your 5 to 10 minutes of pronunciation practice for the day. And to guide you in that process, there's me. Hi, my name is Geoff. It rhymes with breath. It's one of the 4 keys to a natural sound in American English, including placement, pitch, breath, trying to weaken your consonant sounds and strengthen your vowel sounds. And we're going to be talking about all of those concepts today because in the word mountain, we have a situation where you have an N and then a T, but the big issue is that there's another N sound that comes later. Okay, so a lot of times when we have these T's that come before an N, we get what's called a held T or a stop T. So instead of saying like mountain or mountain, we get this sound that's kind of like mountain, mountain. Now, you may hear some people calling this like a glottal stop, but that's a little bit different because glottal stops tend to have a very heavy break, like mountain, mountain, like cotton, like eaten. But American English doesn't do that so much. It has a kind of like a softer version, which is the stop T or the held T, which basically means that we're trying not to release as much air on that T sound. So you don't get that like t, t, t. So you don't say like mountain. But we're also not getting a complete stop of breath, so we're not getting like mountain. Okay, so we need the air to keep moving a little bit, and that's something that I think a lot of resources I've seen that cover held T sounds are kind of missing, because if you completely stop the breath, you're going to get a pretty harsh stop, and we're trying not to do that. This held T sound is basically going to kind of be like, let's take the word mount. Okay, so like mount. Do you see like there's kind of that moment right before the T? It's like mount, mount. And basically what's happening is we're kind of focusing on that moment right before the T, right before the release. Mount, and then not releasing. Another thing that's happening too, typically before this held T sound, is we're going to take the vowel, so in this case that ow sound, and we're going to slightly cut into it. So instead of saying mow, we're going to do more mount. Hear the difference? Mow, mount, mow, mount. You see this in other words too, like stay, S-T-A-Y versus state, S-T-A-T-E, right? Stay, state, stay, state. Or another example like that would be like play, plate, play, plate. So we're typically going to see these held T sounds when the T comes at the end of a word or when the T is followed by another consonant. Like for instance, in a situation like if I say like intelligent man, I didn't say intelligent man, I said intelligent man because man starts with an M. And then again, when you have T's that come before an N sounds like cotton, written, mountain, things like that, forgotten. Okay, so what I would encourage you to do is if you're practicing these held T sounds is just make sure you're not completely stopping the breath because that's just not going to give you the sound you're looking for. Okay, so let's just try saying a couple different words that have these held T's with N sounds to them. I'll say each of these twice. Mountain, mountain. Cotton, cotton. Written, written. Forgotten, forgotten. One final thing about these T sounds, these held T's, is that after you do the held T, that N sound at the end is going to be so weak and fast and generally low in pitch. So I'm not saying mountain, mountain. Do you see how my placement's really high? My N's really strong. It's getting a lot of attention. No, I want that N sound to be very weak and fast, like an really low in pitch, really weak, really light. So it's not mountain, it's mountain. It's not cotton, it's cotton. It's not forgotten, it's forgotten. It's not eaten, it's eaten. Okay, so again, mountain, cotton, eaten, forgotten. It's almost like you're whispering that N sound in many cases. It doesn't have to be very strong. If you have more questions about T sounds, we took a look at them in a couple previous episodes, so you may want to check them out there. Otherwise, hey, thanks for hanging out with me. There's a lot of pronunciation resources out there. I'm very much aware of that. So the fact that you are here is appreciated. I will see you guys later. Have a good day, have a good night, and a good afternoon.